and it perpetually forever changes your understanding of the world.
Very interested in the overview effect. When you first experienced it, I know you talked about it a little bit too, but just to give everybody like kind of a perspective of what that is.
Yeah, well, there was a guy in the 60s, 70s, Frank something, who wrote a book called The Overview Effect. And he'd spoken to a bunch of astronauts, and he'd noticed that a lot of them, our worldview kind of shifts.
Right.
And the first, when I launched out of Florida on my first launch on Space Shuttle Atlantis, and I was on the flight deck, part of the flight crew operating the shuttle, and launched up, and it's an amazing ride. Takes about 8.5 minutes. Then the engine shut off and you're weightless. And by the time you can unstrap out of your seat and, make sure everything's healthy, and you got to get to the window with a camera because we had to take pictures of that big external tank, make sure it had no damage.
Right.
So that gave you a reason to have to get to the window as soon as you get to space, which is what you want to do anyway. And I remember unstrapping out of my seat, retrieving this long lens camera and floating to the window just as we were coming up on Ireland.
Wow.
And I'm trying to do my job, and take pictures of the big external tank in super detail like I've been trained. But we're going 5 miles a second,
Right.
17,500 miles an hour. And I'm looking past the tank, and there's like London, and there's Dublin, and there's Belfast, and there's Paris, and there's The Hague, and there's, you can see all the way up to Stockholm and all the way down past the Alps down to Rome in one glance. And so it's just,
wow.
It's just, and that's just the first 3 or 4 minutes. And then I spent almost 6 months total over 3 flights, and it perpetually forever changes your understanding of the world. It puts everything into proportion. It allows you to understand how old the world is and our little tiny part of it. And I think that is maybe as much the overview effect as anything. You come back with a dramatically improved sense of the reality of the world.